I don't do this to total up the amount of money I make every day. And it's really because when I grew up, I wasn't involved in the income at all. It's just getting the work done every day, see? I don't know, it's just the way of life, you know.
So when I went to UT and lived on campus, I really missed living here. And I probably didn't know that I really wanted to come back so soon. But once I moved on campus, I just really missed the work, and I didn't know how to work out at a gym or anything. So I really missed the physical labor involved with the farm and just being active and being outside. And so I moved back my junior year of college, and I always helped my parents with bottling while I was still at UT. And then when I graduated, I really took on a lot more responsibility in the dairy and learning from my dad how to pasteurize milk and make buttermilk. And I've been working on how to make our ice cream better.
What have you been doing as far as improving
the ice cream? Eating a lot.
Eating a lot.
We use our milk, which is not homogenized, and most ice cream you buy is homogenized.
Right.
So it's really easy to churn butter in ice cream. So that's just one of the things that I've been trying to learn how to do. And you can't really Google it and find anyone else who's making ice cream that's non-homogenized. Yeah, so I can't really get any advice with that. So just practicing and eating. And
So the land itself is perfect for dairy. And the history of your dad farming, I mean, he grew up milking cows. His father farmed.
I think it's grandfather dairy farm.
So it's definitely a generational farm.
It is.
Yeah.
Down what they call the forks of the river, where the Holston and French Broad run together, formed the Tennessee. In that community is where I grew up. And we had some land on the river. But my mother and dad, they only owned 100 acres there, and we milked cows and sold it to other people to pasteurize, you know.
It's a generational tradition to farm. The land is new for him, but the practice is not new. And so my dad's always wanted to dairy farm and keep that tradition alive. But what he really wanted to do was be able to put his milk in a bottle, because no one in his family ever bottled their own milk. So as a boy, he would take the milk to the local dairy, and at the time there was like 12 dairies that were bottling milk around here. Now they're all gone. And so it was what he wanted to do. He saw those people bottling milk, and he said, now that's what we need to do. And
right.
The grass is always greener on the other side. He thought it looked more fun.
And I thought they had it. Well, I thought they really had it easier than they did. There's a lot of work in that dairy business. But they did. It was obvious they lived better than we lived. And so, it's obvious they was able to make more money, So I decided when I was really young that'd be what I'd want to be right there,
So when he met my mom, he was almost 38, I guess, and they got married. And he told her his dream of bottling milk, and she said, let's do it. So together they built a bottling plant and put together some old equipment and got approved and started bottling milk. And they did that for a couple of years and had to quit because they were selling their milk too cheap. They weren't making any money.
I kind of overestimated the amount of work or underestimated how much work there was in it, and probably overestimated how much money there was in it. But it still was a good track for me to get on, because it's good to have a goal, to be working towards something. And when you get there, you think, man, I didn't know it wasn't any more than this, or I wouldn't work this hard, And I'm happy, completely happy with it. And I don't know what I would have done if I hadn't had that.
So he said, all right, well, let's close it down. He went and got a job somewhere, and he said, well, we'll figure out what to do. And then the local farmers market was opening up, and he read about, I think actually my aunt read about some people, an Amish family making ice cream. And he said, hey, that sounds good. Like, we can make ice cream and maybe we'll be able to make enough money to keep the dairy plant going. So
that's when the ice cream evolved.
So they found some used ice cream machines and started making ice cream.
You have an original product and you have a product that's not, there's personality behind it, and it's a small operation like the days of yesteryear.
Right.
So the ice cream business has taken off, and the buttermilk, that was, if I'm not mistaken, that was your goal in the beginning, right? The buttermilk.
Yeah, and that's one thing. It's really done good, and I'm a raw milk drinker also, but I think that buttermilk can make you feel better than anything I know that you can consume. Without something to actually stimulate the brain. I mean, really and truly, it'll make you feel good. This morning I drank raw milk for breakfast, but if I drank buttermilk this morning, I'd probably been working a little bit harder than I am right now.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do so much more on that buttermilk. I don't know why it is. It just steps you up a notch.
Well, fresh dairy products, you just can't beat them. I mean, if you grew up eating fresh ice cream, like right out of the churn like you did today, it's the best. You just
nothing else like it.
Nothing else like it. And if you love ice cream and you realize you have the milk and cream and you've got the ice cream churns, like, why not? So I went to college and not totally sure what I wanted to do, except that I wanted to make ice cream, and then realizing I wanted to come back and keep it going.
I don't think a lot of people realize that the ice cream specifically that you guys make is done by hand.
Oh, really?
It's all churned. I mean, the ingredients are made by hand. The chocolate chips, the pralines.
It's a hands-on process.
It's a very hands-on process. It's by no means a conventional huge industrial machine pumping out this flavored ice cream.
No, we crack the eggs and separate them by hand. It takes 125 dozen eggs for what we consider one batch of mix, so that it's a lot of work.
Well, you have to be proud to know that she's done. She works here. She loves it. She's passionate. She's going to carry the torch for you. Yeah, more or less.
Oh yeah, she's come a long way in the dairy business.
What are some of the biggest things that you've learned from him, and are you continually learning?
I am. Well, he's taught me a lot about the dairy, but I've just learned to work hard from him. He works every day, and he doesn't complain about working. He just gets up and works till he gets it done. And he never took vacations growing up, which I thought was crazy. But really, when you have a farm, you have a lot of responsibility, and it's really nice to be here. You don't really want to leave it. And when you do leave, you realize you want to come back. So he's taught me that you can really have everything right here on the farm.
See, I actually started milking cows real young. Like, Colleen never went to the barn like I did as a young person, and didn't work in the dairy. But up when she got up about 20 years old or so, she decided that's what she wanted, and she's took a big interest in it ever since.
He's always given me advice about ice cream and everything.
And he's still very hands-on with the farm, huh?
Yeah, definitely. Every day.
Getting up every day before dawn.
Yeah.
Still milk cows?
Right now, no. He's taking a little break from milking the cows.
Is he?
Yeah.
But he's acquiring new land. And expanding with the demand and things like that.
And he's making new plans. He wants me to have an ice cream store on his new land, and he's making plans for me. So
I'll be 70 this year, so I was up over 60 years old when we bought this.
Is that right?
Yeah. And most people this age don't have goals, you know what I mean? But I still set them, if I can. Short term.
Right.
You know what I mean? I'm not setting any goals 30 years from now.
Yeah.
Because I have to be around a long time to reach those.
It was your idea as far as the work program here. After the tsunami, you were sort of looking online to, I guess, bring the relief here, some of the
Well, I thought
here.
I needed some help, really. I was in the dairy, and I'm looking for some girls who are as interested in it as me, and it's really hard to find another girl who wants to spend long hours at a dairy instead of going out and having fun. I think the dairy is fun, but I wanted to find a girl in Japan who maybe lost her dairy farm and could come stay at our dairy farm until everything was recovered there. and it could be a learning experience for her too. And you know, it's always fun to travel to a different country. So I couldn't really find that, but I did find a program that's been around for 50 years, and a girl named Ayaka Nishijima came last year.
She was your first?
And she was awesome, and we were great friends and great coworkers, and we spent so many hours in that dairy and just working really hard.
You just had one?
Just one. And this was the first year really that I took over a lot of responsibilities from my dad. So Ayaka and I learned together everything, and it was great. And then this year we have 2 girls in the dairy and 1 boy, and it's also been really a good year.
And their work day, I mean, they wake up before dawn, and you know, some of their chores are, I mean, all day long dairy production, whether it be ice cream or
feeding calves. Yusuke really wants to milk the cows, so he's learning right now, and he eventually will be able to take that over by himself, but he's still learning.
I'm from Kobe, but city side. Yeah, Kobe is very city, the big city.
A lot of city there.
Yeah.
What's your goals? I mean, where do you see? What's your plans with the continuing operation?
More important than growing is just keeping everything going and keeping the farm able to support itself, which is kind of hard to do. Farming is not, you know, it's an expensive. What do you call it? An expensive job. It's not cheap to farm, and so I hope to just keep it going. And I hope to have some help from my nephews eventually. Maybe I'll have some kids and they can jump in also. I have 3 nephews who are really interested in the farm.
All boys?
All boys.
Yeah.
And they're ready. They're young, but they're interested. Hopefully they'll keep the interest.
Already feeding the cows.
Yeah.
I'd rather be a 50 cow dairy and stay in business as I would a 500 cow dairy and can't handle the work or the management and have to go out, say.
Yep.
You know, so I don't want to say back when I was milking cows, you know. I want to keep milking a few, you know.
That's right.
I think for me, probably just being in a family business and being the youngest child, it was almost like a trap where it was hard to get out of it. Like, how could I not do this? And then I know there was times I told my mom, I don't think I want to do this. I think I'm interested in something else. But I always came back to it. And then, like anything, sometimes you do something so long, you really end up loving it. And then you decide, you know, I really enjoy this. And then if someone tries to keep you from doing it and give you an option, then you decide, wait, I really want to do this. Like, this is what I want to do. Don't try to keep me from doing this. Don't try to change my plans. Then you realize you can't live without doing that. I think that's probably how it was for me.